What is up, everyone? This is the top 5 new brews for the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. We are at the number 1 deck with You Are a Pirates. This is a really surprising deck, but let's get into it. All right, so the number 1 new brew for Lost Caverns of Ixalan. This is a surprising one. Um, it kind of shocked me because I made this deck and I got to try it out on the streamer event and it blew my expectations away. I actually didn't think this was going to be the number 1 deck, but after trying it out a little bit, I'm a bit more convinced that this is, a real thing. So, let's get into it. It's pretty interesting. I didn't even think there was enough pirates in the set to really make a pirate deck, but some of the pirates actually have quite a bit of power and really impressed me. For example, we got this Goblin Tomb Raider. It's a 1 mana 1/2. It's very reminiscent of there's a wizard, a previous wizard in that is played a lot in Historic, where whenever you have 2 instants or sorceries in your graveyard, it has +1 and haste until end of turn. This is the same thing, but for artifacts. So whenever you have an artifact, you get +1 and haste. So it comes in as a 2/2, which is pretty good for a 1-drop, 2/2 with haste. And it's pretty easy to have an artifact. So we have things like the Spyglass Siren, which is is blue for a 1/1 flying with that makes a map token when it enters the battlefield, which is an artifact. We also have these diamond pickaxes, which are artifacts for 1 mana. And then a bunch of our other cards also generate artifacts, treasure tokens. So that gives us artifacts for that creature to have haste. And the payoffs for going into the whole pirate synergy is Captain Storm Cosmium Raider. It's a blue and a red for a 2/2, and whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target pirate you control. So, let's say you play this down on like turn 3, and you already have some creature on the battlefield from turn 1 or turn 2. Then maybe you drop Spyglass Siren and it generates the map token. Well, now you get to put a +1/+1 counter on something. And maybe you also play a diamond pickaxe the next turn. You get to put another +1/+1 counter on something. So it snowballs pretty quickly where, these little pirates that you had that were 2/2s and 1/1s suddenly become like 4/4s, 5/5s, etc. And the damage really starts to pile on. So it's kind of like a semi-aggressive deck that is able to scale upward because of this pumping that you can do whenever you generate tokens and treasures and stuff like that. So besides these guys, we also have the Staunch Crewmate, 1 in a blue for a 2/1. That's a pirate, of course. And when it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or pirate from among them, put it into your hand. Well, pretty much everything in our deck is an artifact or a pirate, so voila, we get to draw a card basically off of this. And we have a pirate on the battlefield, so that's pretty good. We also have Malcolm. This was one of the new cards that people will really think is going to perform well. It's 1 in a blue for 2/1 flash flying. So you can cast it on the end of your opponent's end step. Whenever it deals combat, then you put a counter on this. And if you get to 4, then sorry, skip the part where it says draw, then discard. And if you get to 4 counters, then anytime you discard the spell, you get to cast it for free. So basically, it's pretty good. It's evasive. You can pump it up with your captain, and it filters your lands so you don't get too many lands in your aggressive deck. And then late game, if they don't kill it, then you start to get free cards. So that's pretty sweet. The other really good pirates that we have are Breach's Eager Pillager, 2 in a red, 3/3 first strike. Whenever a pirate you control attacks, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn, create a treasure, target creature can't block this turn, and exile the top card of your library. So this triggers for each pirate that attacks. So if you have 3 attacking pirates, you basically get to choose all 3 of those things. Create a treasure, something can't block you, and then you get to play the top card of your library. So really, really good. Most of the time we want just the treasure. If we get any attack trigger, we want the treasure because that's going to trigger our captain. That's going to enable our goblins. That's going to help, ramp us into the bigger things that we have in the deck, etc., etc. And we also have some removal that wants, artifacts to sack, so Voltage Charge can use that treasure to do 4 damage instead. And I actually have Lightning Strike in here. It might make more sense to just be 4 Voltage Surges because the Voltage Surge is very good, and the Lightning Strike going face is not that common when I played it. So yeah, that's something food for thought. Finally, Kitale Larsonist. This card didn't look that good to me when I previewed it, but the more I played with it, I really, really thought this card was great. It's 2 and a blue, flying, ward 1 for a 2/3, and when it enters the battlefield, both the opponent and you, one of your creatures turns into a treasure as long as this creature's on the battlefield. So, often you're taking like your 1/1 flyer, your 1/2 guy, something like that, that is not really that impactful. Maybe it can't even attack because the opponent has some blockers. So you turn that into a treasure, and you turn the opponent's big creature or impactful creature like Shieldred, like the one of the big dinosaur creatures from the new set, turn them into treasures, and then basically they're dead because this has ward, it's a little bit hard to kill. If they're really going to spend the resources to kill it, then you get back your creature as well. And yeah, I don't know. It's like yeah, they could kill it, but there's a lot of other bigger targets that they need to use the removal on, like your captain or like your Malcolm or your breaches. So killing the Larsonist is kind of like typically low priority, and you don't play this that early in the game where they think about saving their removal for this. And then to finish things off, we have the Belligerant and we have the Magmatic Gallion. These are 2 artifact vehicles which work very well with the pirates in this set, especially this Belligerant one. 2 and a blue red for a 5/5 with crew 3. Whenever it attacks, create a treasure. So the treasure triggers our captain. Treasure, enables all our other stuff that we talked about. And then you can look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. So whenever it attacks, you get a treasure and you get to cast from the top of your library and play from the top of your library. And so basically it's just kind of like a lot of gas towards the late game to help finish things off, and it creates the treasures, which helps snowball your board state. So pretty nice in that way. And then the Magmatic Galleon, similar, comes in, it deals 5 damage to target creature and opponent controls, so basically removal. And then whenever one or more of your creatures one or more creatures your opponent control are dealt excess combat damage, create a treasure. So as long as you don't kill a 5/5 with this, then you get a treasure token, triggers all your stuff, like I mentioned. And then it also triggers anytime that happens again. So if you somehow get 2 of these galleons in your hand, or you do lightning strike or something on a creature, then it's gonna give you another treasure. So there's ways to kind of make use of that again. And then also it's just a pretty good vehicle, 5/5 for a crew 2. So one of your little small pirates can now turn into a 5/5. And there's this really cool trick you can do where you can use your like 2 power creature to crew your Magmatic Galleon, and then that can crew your Belligerant, so then you get the trigger off the Belligerant, create the treasure, get to look at the top cards of your library, etc. Because sometimes you don't have a 3 power creature, you don't have enough to crew the 3 on that one. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I could even see having more of these ships. I had 2 and 2 at first, and then I made 3 and 2. I still really thought it was great in that sense. So definitely there's a possibility that it could go more. Both of these ships are great. All right, and then for the lands, we only needed 21. Cavern of Souls is really great. Stops counter spells on your pirates, and fixes your mana. Secluded Courtyard, pretty good as well. I didn't want to have more than 6 because I want to have the mana to cast my ships. And then also my red spells need mana as well, so that's why we need to have these number of red sources that are not the pirate specific sources. So yeah, that's the deck. it performed really, really well. As I mentioned, I think I played 3 or 4 games. I won all of them with the Pirates. So very good. And there's a few other cool equipments that could possibly work in this deck instead of the pickaxe, but the pickaxe seemed nice. It gives you treasures, which is what you want. So yeah, just worked out quite well. Um, so that's it. And you should definitely check it out when the new set comes out. It seems great, and hope you enjoyed this top 5 new brew series. The new set comes out in just a few days from now. So hope you can have some fun, try some new things. Till next time. See ya.